God, aka sydneymgtow here today. It is Thursday, the 11th of January, and have I got a doozy for you today? I did say in my stream yesterday that I was going to do something on universities, and I kind of had a bit of a strong idea about what I wanted to say. Thanks everybody for jumping in the stream, hitting that thumbs up. Let's get this message out there. Really appreciate you all. Oh man, 4 in the stream and 4 thumbs up. Fucking fantastic. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. All right. Men, I have got some serious next level shit for you today. So this video is about universities and how they have become indoctrination centers for social justice, leftards, and radical feminism, and how the skills that people are getting from universities are becoming absolutely useless. Let me bring up one more article. Okay. So doing all my searching using DuckDuckGo, I do not use Google anymore because it is a waste of time. And they only give you leftist answers anyway. So, men, look, I know not all of you are watching from Australia here today. Some of you are from the US and all over the world, and thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know if any of you have heard of this. It did make headlines, but there was a program being rolled out across all Australian schools, which was government funded, just FYI, and it was called the Safe Schools Program. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Safe Schools Program. I'm going to give you as much of a balanced viewpoint on this as I can, but I think that the website's actually going to speak for itself. Now, where are we here? There is if you've heard of La Trobe University in Melbourne, and if for any of you who know, Melbourne is basically the SJW and feminist hotspot of Australia. It's down in Victoria. They are so fucking cucked that they ended up replacing a bunch of the walk symbols. You know, when you're at the traffic lights and you've got to walk across, they ended up replacing a bunch of the green walk symbols with walk symbols that had skirts because apparently they weren't gender inclusive. And if any of you have heard of Clementine Ford, she's also from Victoria. And if any of you heard about that Islamic truck of peace attack down in Melbourne where they had to put up all the concrete blocks, and then people went and spraying all the rainbows on them about the same-sex marriage. I mean, it's just a fucking shitstorm of cuckery. Absolutely misery, man. It's getting fucking ridiculous. Thankfully, Queensland is not too cucked yet. Neither is Northern Territory. WA is starting to get there. Sydney is in trouble, and Victoria is well and truly completely fucked. Yeah, exactly. Harmonic Live. That's where there was a cafe called. What was it called? It was called. I don't know. Anyway, there was a cafe that was opened up by these retarded feminists who still believed in the wage gap, the endlessly debunked wage gap, and the irony I saw in it, right? Handsome Her, that's right, Elvin Girl, thank you. Now this place called Handsome Her, it gave priority seating to women, and it charged men an extra gender tax because of the gender pay gap to make up for it. So if you're a man and you go into the cafe, you actually are asked to pay more than a woman. The only reason they don't force you to pay more than a woman is because it is illegal for them to do so. But you basically get shamed if you're a man and you don't pay the gender pay gap tax. Absolute fucking joke. Useless cafe. Helps nobody. Now, back to what I was getting at. So this Safe Schools program. Where are we here? I have a few resources here. So this is the Safe Schools Coalition of Australia. Right? Safe Schools Coalition of Australia, as you see there. Contact your local education department. There's a bunch of resources that you can actually utilize, and those resources, they've moved to this student wellbeing hub. I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm not going to waste your time, guys, but I definitely am going to go into this. So note here, it says the Australian government-funded Safe Schools Coalition of Australia program has completed. Select resources produced under this program will continue, etc., etc., etc. Now let's close that. Now let's go to this. Safe Schools. Victoria State Government Education and Training Department. The Education Department, the Government of Victoria, is funding and implementing this program. Would you look at that? A 6-color rainbow. I think we know where this is going. Safe Schools is a formal and public commitment that schools make to create an inclusive and safe environment for their school community, including for LGBTI students, families, and teachers. This commitment recognizes that creating a safe and inclusive environment is key to tackling bullying of LGBT, discrimination against LGBT, and harassment against LGBT at schools, particularly arising from, wouldn't you know it, homophobia and transphobia, the left's favorite buzzwords. All students should be safe from bullying and feel included at school. Students who don't feel safe or included at school cannot learn effectively. I'll tell you who's not learning effectively right now. Young boys, because of the feminization of the school system and the cuckery of Victorian fucking education department. This education department is implementing safe schools into every single government-funded public school in Victoria. Every single one. So every single one of those schools that children are attending, the children are forced to learn this shit. So this isn't an anti-bullying and anti-harassment program for the fat ginger white boy that doesn't like dick, right? This is not about helping everybody, including straight white men, MGTOWs like you and I, the rational people. This is about appeasing a minority and trying to normalize transsexuality. In fact, this program has been around for roughly about 7 years or so, roughly. And in that time, cases of gender dysphoria, which is people believing that they are living in the incorrect gender of body to what they identify as, have skyrocketed. The amount of cases of kids getting put into children's hospital as young as 4, 5, 6, skyrocketed. Yeah, Vero, look, I'm okay with LGBT as well. And even trans people. Like I know there's someone very close to me that is a post-op trans, and they've gone and they had the full operation, done the transition from male to female. I've got a lot of love for them. They are someone that was in my childhood, and I'll never have an issue with them. But I have an issue with transsexuality being pushed onto 6th and 7th graders. I have an issue with transsexuality being taught to 4-year-olds. Now, I actually just remembered something here, and I'm going to tell you about a little book called The Gender Fairy. Fucking cancer. Let me find this. Just do a quick DuckDuckGo, not Google search, a DuckDuckGo search. If any of you guys are using Google search, I recommend ditching it and going to duckduckgo.com, adding the add-on to your Chrome browser if you use it. It is fantastic, and it gives you uncucked, unfiltered search results that actually marry up with the actual metadata out there. It is not manipulated to give you a distorted sense of reality. So here we go. The genderfairy.com by Joe Hurst. Let's go have a look. Only you know whether you're a boy or a girl. No one can tell you. The Gender Fairy is a simple story about 2 children feeling the relief of being heard. Of 2 children who are taking their first joyful steps towards living as their true selves. Gender Fairy has a foreword by Associate Professor, a university professor, head of the Gender Service at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. Dr. Telfer says, as a children's book, it approaches complex subject matter with a beautiful simplicity. It will be of great assistance to gender diverse children in finding acceptance. It will help other children understand too. For children aged 4 and up, men, the Gender Fairy is designed to be read aloud. The back of the book has notes for parents and teachers written in collaboration with Ros Ward from La Trobe University. In collaboration, a book about gender diversity for 4-year-olds written in collaboration with Ros Ward from La Trobe University. Let that sink in. Now let's go into a bit of research about Ros Ward. Ros Ward has a master's in gender studies at La Trobe University. Let's go and have a look at the gender studies. Let's go and have a look at La Trobe University in Melbourne. As I said, the most cancerous university in Australia, in my view. Let's go and have a look at courses that are available at La Trobe University. Now, let's look at all these different types of courses. Science, no, let's not look at that. That's useful. Law and criminology, not too useful. It actually serves a purpose in life. IT and engineering, nope, can't be doing STEM degrees when there's sociology degrees. Health, no, don't want to help people, just want to talk shit out my ass. Education and teaching, maybe business and commerce, no, patriarchy. Don't want to do a useful degree because that will just completely destroy our narrative and bridge the pay gap down to nothing, so we won't be able to complain about getting oppressed. Oh, here we go. Arts, social sciences, and communications. Let's look at this fucking useless set of degrees. What is the most useless thing I can find? Not politics and philosophy and economics, because politics and economics might require me to think and base my decisions on facts. Languages and linguistics. No, that's useful. It's useful in life. International relations and development. No, that's useful. Planning, environment, stuttering here. I'm just getting all excited. Planning, environment, and sustainability. No, that's useful. Can't do that. Hello. Let's look at media, communication, and journalism. No, that doesn't have Bachelor of Arts there. It's not useless enough. Let's go back to these courses, shall we? Go back to the arts. Let's find, here we go. Social sciences. Oh, look, Bachelor of Arts. Sounding promising, guys. Sounding useful. Let's scroll down. Oh, look. Fuck. I bet that there's I bet these guys have soy in their coffee. Fucking little soy boys. Look at them. Definitely soy boys, 100%. Let's go down here. See what we can find. Let's see what degrees are available. See what degrees we can do. Anthropology, not useful. Archaeology, useful. Asian studies, nope. Useful. Chinese, nope. Useful. Creative and professional writing, semi-useful. Crime, justice, and legal, nope. Useful. I can't do economics or English because they're useful. French is also useful. Oh, here we go. Gender, sexuality, and diversity. Completely fucking useless. Let us look into this. Let's find out how useless it really is. Here we go. Testimonial. What I like about gender studies is that is not just a major option, but an academic community where queerness, social justice, yep, that's where it's at. Social justice. That's obviously very useful for the world. And difference are critically engaged with, celebrated, and supported. Gender studies has provided me with a crucial space to engage with my own queerness and identity when so often in other spaces I've felt invalidated and isolated for speaking. So what you're saying here is that this 3-year degree has helped you to validate your feelings of uselessness. My studies have given me an interest pursuing a career in social justice with a focus on community outreach, policy development, and research. So what you're saying is you want to develop policies to force us by way of Big Daddy Tyrone into helping you to push social justice forward, even though social justice is a cancer on society. Ellen Munro, Bachelor of Arts, gender, sexuality, and diversity studies. Okay, cool. Let's get to the content here, shall we? What makes us who we are? Explore how identity is shaped and is shaped by politics, society, culture, knowledge, and power. Oh, here we go, power. I sense some oppression Olympics about to start here. Why study gender, sexuality, and diversity? GSDS explores identity and its relationship to gender. Hey, muscle in the house, brother. Welcome. Hit that thumbs up, man. Relationship to gender, sexuality, ethnicity, nationality, class, disability, and age. It looks at difference and diversity and how the mainstream media maintains power over the marginal. Now, guys, I haven't put it in my description yet, but I am actually going to include a YouTube video, a link to a YouTube video after I finish this video that basically explains what gender studies is doing to society and how it is a fucking cancer. Gender studies major interrogates how our rights, responsibilities, and roles in societies are gendered and sexualized, and how they influence our relationships and our quality of work, life, and play. You'll be exposed to a rich history and counter-narrative. We all know about narratives from the feminists of difference and diversity. Choose from specializations including feminist history, gender and work, sexuality and queer theory, women's writing and feminist literary criticism, women and popular culture, gender and education, aka indoctrinating kids through teaching, feminist socio-legal history, so basically how women can use the law to fuck men over, women and religion, queer culture in Chinese society, women's health, transgender writing, identity politics, which we have seen a fuck ton of with all of the screeching at Trump's election and all of the identity politics leapfrogging of oppression with queer and women and people of color, and you have more oppression points based on what color you are and where you're from and what gender you are and what your sexuality is. And this is the whole, and then when you mix all that together into a shitstorm of oppression, that's where we talk about, that's basically the concept of intersectionality. That's the whole idea of that clusterfuck of oppression. Where can gender, sexuality, and diversity take me? Gender studies prepares you for a career in a range of fields, including human rights, equal opportunity, social and policy planning, human resource management, teaching and education, media and communication, public relations, journalism, politics, community service, and community development. Wow. Yep, exactly. Mark Noonan, this is what they teach at universities now. Sounds right. Why their degrees are useless. Absolutely correct. Now, La Trobe is the only university in Australia to offer gender studies, hey LB, and diversity studies as a fucking major. Within the Bachelor of Arts. We have a strong LGBTI ally network made up of staff and students who have undertaken training to provide support and raise awareness on LGBTIQ issues and experiences on campus, which I bet includes rape culture, because we can't have victimhood and an oppression hierarchy without including rape culture. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. LB, 2018. Okay, I'm going to get back on the camera for this. 2018 is MGTOW's year. It is the year we take the power back and stop the fucking bullshit. It's already starting to happen. I mentioned this in another video, but there is a UK body which is coming in to increase the amount of conservative content in university, to increase the diversity of opinion, and to basically stop leftists from taking over all of the thought train and stop people from being completely indoctrinated in university, which is what's happening at the moment, which is why the feminist agenda is taking hold and basically skyrocketing with the whole Me Too and, all of this oppression narrative about men bad, women good. Gender Studies and Diversity and Sexuality boasts an active student body, including the Queer Collective, which hosts regular events throughout the year. GSDS can be studied alongside any of the 20 study areas within the Bachelor of Arts and can also be studied in other courses at La Trobe where subject space permits. Yes, California is full of libtards. It is completely fucking cucked and it is beyond help. So yeah, basically that's what's good. So what I've just read to you is the gender studies content. Now I'm going to go back to a very, very, very important point, men. Very important point. And this is something that people don't know and are not realizing. It's happening by stealth. Because the only people that want to do gender studies and want to basically have their victimhood validated are realizing this. So, okay, so we're talking about the specializations and the areas of employment that people can go into as a result of having a gender studies major at La Trobe, which is the place that introduced safe schools. So that, yeah, Ros Ward, who's a master in gender studies, was one of the people that headed up safe schools that the cucked Victorian Education Department is pushing to kids as young as 4 by way of people such as Joe Hurst. Hey, Motor City, welcome. I'm going to find the video from the author, Joe Hurst. Genital studies, exactly. They're only interested in vaginas, though penises are oppressive, apparently. So, again, genderfairy.com. Go check it out, man. And this is about, if you've just joined, this is about a book called The Gender Fairy by Joe Hurst, who developed this book in conjunction of Ros Ward, a Masters in Gender Studies from La Trobe, which is the cancerous degree that I just showed you on the La Trobe website, which is, for any of you who want to go back to the website, www.latrobe.edu.au, go to courses, go to arts, go to social sciences, Bachelor of Arts, scroll past the soy boys, and you will find the useless cancer that is gender studies. Anyway, going to go back to the Gender Fairy just quickly. Have a listen to this, men.
Hi, I'm Jeremy, and here's Joe Hurst.
Jeremy, lol.
About her new book, The Gender Fairy, by Joe.
Let me turn this up.
Hang on,
go.
What is The Gender Fairy about?
The book is about 2 children who feel they don't align as the gender they were assigned at birth, and they cry out for help, and their cries are heard, and they're helped by someone named the Gender Fairy. And it's a picture book designed for very young children, aged 4 years and up. It's designed to be read aloud to children with notes at the back for parents and teachers that are very age appropriate, so they can help explain the issue to children.
So what are you hoping The Gender Fairy will achieve?
Well, several things. First of all, it's designed for transgender children and their families. One of the first things that transgender children will ask is, am I normal? And the book reassures them that, yes, of course you're normal. And the other thing they'll ask is, am I the only one in the world that feels this way? And the book says, well, yes, there are lots of others, because there are. The other thing I'd like it to achieve is to reach out to the greater community and all children.
Look at this soy boy.
Have this book read to them by perhaps their parents or their teachers in the classroom, because it takes a community to raise a child, and it certainly takes a community to raise a transgender child. I think understanding in the classroom and at school are crucial. I think everybody it would help everybody to understand gender diversity a little bit more.
So why choose a fairy instead of another adult in these children's lives?
It was really hard to decide who the person was going to be to give the children the information and the reassurance that they needed. Because in real life, it's often the parents, but not always. Often parents can see that their children's not thriving and they'll look for answers, and they will give this reassurance to their child along with perhaps help from other people. But it's not always the parents. So it could be a doctor, a counsellor, a teacher, or another trusted adult. So I decided to make it...
So it doesn't have to be the parents that initiates this.
And I liked the idea of a fairy tale in the story as well. And it also gave me a chance to introduce a non-binary character.
Fucking
and by
cancer.
a non-binary character, I mean someone who doesn't always identify as male or female. And that introduces sort of someone I couldn't introduce in this book. This book is about two children, one who identifies as male and one who identifies as female. And there are more identities than just male or female. So that gave me a chance to introduce one more of those that I couldn't fit into this book any other way.
So does the gender fairy have more stories to tell?
The fairy does have more stories.
Fuck off, fairy.
Next year, I'll be bringing out a book where the fairy explains the gender spectrum to very young children again, aged 4 and up, in an age-appropriate way.
4 and up?
The fairy will be explaining the gender spectrum and gender fluidity to very young children, and that's children who may feel that they're not always a boy or a girl, or that they feel a bit like both.
Well, Jo, thank you so much for your time, and we really hope to see the gender fairy on bookshelves soon.
Thank you very much.
So do you know why these kids probably aren't thriving? It's not because they're trans at 4 years old. It's because their parents are fuckwits. And it's usually where there's a mother that is dictating all the bullshit that her kid gets taught. Unbelievable. This is the result of men being taken out of households. Now, guys, also, I know there are some women that watch this, right? And not everybody agrees with my opinions, and not everyone, I believe in treating human beings with the merit they deserve based on what they say and on the content of their character. Martin Luther King wanted people who are of black color, Martin Luther King wanted black people to be judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And there are plenty of good black people. There's plenty of shit ones as well, but there's plenty of good ones, right? Just like there are plenty of shit women, increasingly more, especially the ones that have been to university and being fed this fucking oppression Olympics bullshit. Now, I'm actually going to read one other thing. Now, on La Trobe's website, where I showed you how to go there before, you're right, Arvero, color doesn't matter. If you're black, you're brown, you're yellow, you're white, whatever color you are, brothers, I'm your brother. We bleed the same blood. We're all men. We're all MGTOW here. And we don't need to go treating other people differently on anything other than their behavior. You treat people based on their behavior. You treat them based on their intent. You treat them based on the content of their character. Nothing else, ever. So, I have a female friend who works in construction. She's basically grown up around men. And she has started an initiative to try and curb suicide in construction. And she's listened to things that I've told her about masculinity and about the red flags for men who are unhappy. She's been very receptive. And I have to respect that. And some people say to me, don't trust women. And I agree. Right? You don't need to put yourself in a vulnerable situation. And I said this in one of my comments on another video where someone mentioned this. I don't think that if women are speaking out positively about men and speaking against feminists and speaking against this anti-male propaganda, I don't think that we need to waste our energy and time on telling those people to shut up and trying to silence those women that are actually speaking out in favor of us. If those women, right, look, the female nature is that women do things because that makes them feel good, Period. Right? We men do it too, but we've basically been we've put a framework in place to protect women, because in the past that's made us feel good, and we fucked ourselves over. I know that. You guys know that. We're working towards getting that fixed. But look, let's look at what's happening right now. So if a woman wants to speak out in favor of men, if they want to speak out positively and they've got a message that aligns with ours and that resonates with other women that won't listen to men, or if that resonates with men that won't listen to other men but will listen to women, then I think we need to let them speak and not try and shut them down. I'm not saying we should trust them. I'm not saying we should go out there and throw money at them. I'm not saying that we should go and throw our own men under the bus to support these women. That's not what I'm saying. But if it makes them feel good to do something that benefits us, let them do it. Now that I've got that out and I've said that, and I hope people that have maybe thought in the past that I give some women a little bit too much credit will hear that, and that will resonate with them, because we need all the help we can get, men. And if we can get help without having to lift a finger and without having to fight to get that help from women, then I'm okay with that. So let's revisit this part of the Latrobe course here. Now, some of the cool, Marcel. I'd love to hear what he's saying, man. Feel free to hit me up on my email, brother. Appreciate it. Elvin Girl, you're right. Trust and respect is earned from both men and women. Yeah, look, Eddie, it's not that women's needs go on forever. It's what their wants go on forever, and they perceive them to be needs. If people accepted our wants as needs, then we would get a lot more. But, they don't. So choose from specializations, including feminist history. So you can teach history with a feminist slant, which is basically saying in the history of the world, straight white men have been the oppressors, and they still are. Absolutely, LB. I respect women who actually worked for their skills. There's women engineers out there that don't buy into this social justice bullshit and put in the fucking hard yards and create the same output as a man. I respect that. As long as they don't talk shit about men and don't blame other people for their fuck ups, then I respect it. Same as I respect men who do that as well. I respect men who don't blame others for their fuck ups. I respect men who know that the only person they have to be accountable to is themselves. Yeah, Howard is a very cool guy. He's a really, really good guy. He's got a lot of very intelligent things to say. Harmonic Live. All right, let's. I don't want to have this drag on for an hour, guys. I really appreciate you jumping in the live stream. We got 34 there. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Let's share this on Facebook. Hit subscribe down the bottom if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the bell next to it so you get all the notifications for my daily videos that I do for the truths that I spit for you men. Absolutely stacked. Me Too is going to backfire so bad for women. It already is happening. Gender and work. So basically, gender policies in workplaces, which are basically going to be giving women more protections and shitting on men even more with affirmative action and things like that. Sexuality and queer theory, so basically spreading cancer by making people's identity all about this rather than just simply having it as a discussion point, having it as a focal point of their identity. Women's writing and feminist literary criticism. I have plenty of criticism for feminist writing because it's all a crock of shit and it's all based on oppression, and none of it is relevant today, where women have all of the rights that men have. Yeah, Eddie, they're hard to find, man. They're hard to find women that are fair and reasonable and rational. There are a few out there, but I still don't trust the nature of human being that is enabled by the law. Okay, women and popular culture. So that's a useless field to get into, but again, it's all about oppression, gender, and education. Man, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Our children are being taught by an overly feminist school system. They are being indoctrinated. Daughters are being indoctrinated to believe in all this cancerous bullshit. Men are being indoctrinated to believe that they're bad and that they are oppressors of women when they haven't done anything wrong. And men, very soon there is we've got something huge coming out from Stand Up Men. Huge. It's called How to Be a Man, What Your Father Never Taught You. And this is the gift you can give to the soy boys and the white knights that you know in your life that really need to understand what it is to be a man and what masculinity is all about. It will teach them everything they need to know. It will be the greatest gift you ever give them in your life. It will be the greatest gift you ever get yourself. We also have an incredible ebook coming up in collaboration with Stand Up Men and myself. Men, this shit is going to blow your minds once it is complete, which will be hopefully this week. I'm going to start dropping a few little extracts to give you a taste of what's to come. There will be a 100% money back guarantee on this, men. I want to share it with you. I'm going to be sharing the link to Stand Up Men's page to buy these things because I believe in it, and what he's written in there is absolute dynamite. He's older than me. He's a very, very intelligent, very wise man. He's collated this data over between 10 and 20 years. It is huge. The next bit about this gender studies degree, feminist socio-legal history. So basically this is teaching women how they are oppressed. They are oppressed. Telling them they're oppressed in the legal system. They're not, but they're just going to keep fighting for more and more rights to equal out what they believe to be the unbalanced playing field when in fact it's only balanced against men. We all know this from our experience. Women's health, that's fine. Whatever makes you happy. Transgender writing, basically creating more and more content that is glorifying transgenderism when in fact it is something that people struggle with. It is not something that we should be glorifying. We should be helping people to navigate through their youth until such time as they're 16 or 18 and they are in a position where they're fully they've been through puberty and they're at a stage now where they can actually make decisions for themselves. And that's why I respect the trans person that is very close to me. They did this when they were well over 18. They funded it themselves. They didn't expect the Big Daddy Tyrone to pay for it. They went overseas and they got it done. They almost died in the process. And I really, really respect them for, if that's their truth and they want to do that as a fully grown adult, I respect that as well. MGTOW menace, is that actually true? Don't want to take the piss. Like, no disrespect. I'm just curious as to what's going on. And if that is the case, man, more power to you. Respect, not pushing it at your views on other people. I think 25 is an age by which if you still feel that your identity, you really feel that your identity is something other than what you were born, and you're 25, you've been through puberty, and you self-fund it, I respect that choice. I will not shit on you as long as you live your truth as a human, not basically base your entire identity around your transsexuality, which is unfortunately what a lot of these people that are pushing these narratives and pushing for kids as young as 4 to be basically have transgenderism normalized at that age. It's not healthy for kids to be exposed to this stuff. They've already got enough struggles finding their own identity. LB, exactly. You've got gay friends who are respectable professionals, 100%. I am going to be on my travels next week. There's a couple of gay customers that I have, and I get along great with them. And they don't make their identity about being gay. That's their sexuality, not their identity. And I really think that people need to separate their identity and their sexuality, because once those two things meld together and merge, you get people where if you don't validate their sexuality, then they have absolutely nothing left of their identity. And I think that that's really unhealthy personally. Now, I've taken the liberty, men, of doing a quick DuckDuckGo search of Ros Ward. Images. Would you like to see what Ros looks like? Oh, there it is. there it is. I honestly do not know whether she is a transgender man or a transgender woman, or she is just really masculine or slightly feminine man. I actually do not know. This is basic. This is the person who started the Safe Schools program from La Trobe University, the Cancer Indoctrination Centre of Australia in the most cuck state of Australia, Victoria. If you go back earlier in the video, I talked to you about what the education department in Victoria, the government-funded education department, is doing. And this is the woman behind Safe Schools. She's a gender studies master, and she is the one who collaborated with Joe Hurst on that reading material called The Gender Fairy at www.thegenderfairy.com for young kids. So it's all just a massive amount of fuckery. And you'll actually see here, degrees are useless, theory is fine if you're posh. 10 most useless degrees. Students at most colleges don't pick useless majors unless you're at La Trobe and you pick gender studies. We're so well educated, but we're useless. Men. These feminist indoctrination centers are becoming more and more useless. The Labour Party, the leftists of Australia, the ones that are in bed with the Greens, were the ones that removed student cap numbers on universities. And they basically said, if you want to go to universities, there is a place for you. Whereas universities used to be highly competitive. It was only the best of the best that got in. And then you had free thought, you had intelligent thought, you had useful degrees, and you didn't have this ideological bullshit indoctrinating 18 to 23-year-olds. So we need a return to that where not everyone can get a degree. Next video on my channel, I'll reveal my face. Respect MGTOW Menace. Fucking respect for putting your face out there. Because I put my face out there. And I know that there's people watching already. And I know people are coming for me. And I know Tyrone doesn't like what I say. And I know that CuckTube, aka YouTube, does not like my political stance and my point of view. But let me tell you, the more of us you try and silence, the more of us will pop up. The more these faces will be seen on your computer screens, whether you like it or not. This is the internet. You cannot silence us. We, MGTOW, will not be silenced. You better believe that shit. I got fucking enormous balls. And I will get those balls. And I will fucking knock down your echo chambers like a wrecking ball. I will use my nuts to pound you into a pulp on the ground. That's how fucking big my balls are. I will not stop until this shit stops. I will fight. Now, also guys, I'm going to mention this from time to time in videos because I do get criticism in the comments from people criticizing me for putting, my Patreon and my crypto links and my PayPal in the comments, the description section of my videos. Men, I buy newspapers out of my pocket, not out of the money you give me. Every single cent that is donated by PayPal, by crypto, by Patreon, all of that money sits in a pool. It is my fighting fund. If you would like to donate to the fighting fund, please feel free. And in a video soon, as this fighting fund grows, and even the money that I donate monthly to about 4 channels on Patreon. I have a monthly pledge to the biggest and most important content creators, those who are fighting behind the scenes, those who are battling in the trenches in a way that you men may not understand. Jackson 110, yeah, he's a good guy. Got a lot of love for Jackson 110. Yeah, Chris Cantu as well. He puts his face in the videos. He fights in the trenches. He donates to other MGTOWs. The money that he gets, People say, oh, Chris Cantu went overseas, he's living the life, he's just sitting on beaches overseas. Men, he's overseas because it's cheaper to live. Right? Whether you think it's fair or not, yeah, I do. There's money on MGTOW 101's Patreon every single month. MGTOW 101 was my first red pill. MGTOW 101 jumps in these streams sometimes. I know he follows me. Got a lot of love for that man. I really respect him for calling out the truth. And even when he lost his job because he was spending so much time on MGTOW videos, he kept fighting in the same way that I'm going to keep fighting for you men. Thank you, Earl. You're a MGTOW soldier. Spend the money how you please. Earl, I want to tell you about the way that I view things. As a MGTOW soldier, that money, right? I'm fighting as a soldier. And part of fighting as a soldier is making sure you go into battle with the weapons you need to win. And one of those weapons that you need to win is money. And that's why it's so important to donate to people like Chris Cantu, who are helping to fund Zeitgeist Eater, who's backed up my channel, who's backed up Big John's channel, and has backed up all the big MGTOW channels that have been taken down. Because we will not be silenced and we will not be taken off the air. You can't fight hard enough against us to stop us. Stacked, man, that would be a great t-shirt. Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I actually do have an online store. I don't spruik it very often. I don't like spruiking it at all. My SEO skills suck. But it is www.mgtowmerch.com. Every cent from the store does go towards the fighting fund for when I do lose my job. When I do lose my job, I will go back and either stay at the family home for a while or I will go overseas. I'll do what I need to do to make sure that I can keep fighting the good fight. I will minimize my expenses as much as possible to maximize the amount of money that I build and put into the fighting fund. And mark my words. If I lose my job, if I get fucked over as a result of these views and a result of standing up for all these men and, a message to my boss, I really love you. I really respect you. You are one of the kindest men I know. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do what I do. I really love my job and I really appreciate you. And I really appreciate that you've given me the opportunity to support myself in the way that you do. And to put money aside to fight this fight for other men. So I just want to say that to you, boss. If you see this, this is not an attack on women. This is teaching men how to be men. It is an attack on the government and the systems of control that are causing us men to be, basically having to submit to the gynocentricity in our society, having to open our wallets to everybody, having to men pay the majority of taxes. And, boss, again, I would really like you to go back and look at my video on the redistribution of wealth. I do get very passionate in it. I do swear, and I make no apologies for swearing. But when you read that, you'll understand why this fight is so important to me. And hopefully you are able to fight it in your heart to allow me to keep my job so that I can keep pooling money so that I can fight this fight for men and restore the fairness in legislation. Anyway, guys, most likely you'll lose your job for helping us. I expect all the governments to eventually come for MGTOW. Absolutely. I know Tyrone's coming for me. But here's the thing. There's nothing that anyone can do ever to take away from me the fight that I have in me. To take away from me the message that you men are hearing live in this stream right now. Every single cent that I donate to my fellow content creators comes out of my pocket. Comes out of my pocket. It doesn't come out of the MGTOW fighting fund that you donate to. And thank you, men, for saying that money's mine. But that money's not mine. Right? That money is there for you men. So when every single dollar, in fact, guys, if you can spare $1 a month, please go to my Patreon, spare $1 or $2. If you're feeling extra generous, $5. I will be actually revealing my Patreon account and the fighting fund pulling up in a video that I do later. I will be revealing it, and you will see that there are no withdrawals. Not 1 cent will I withdraw from that fighting fund over the course of months. You will see my PayPal, and you will see that there are no withdrawals. Every cent that I pay for the extra data that I need to do these streams for you men when I'm out and about comes from my pocket, not from the MGTOW Fighting Fund. Every cent I spend on the newspapers comes from the fighting fund. Every cent that I spend on, food and drink to keep me going at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning so that I can keep doing this for you. Mark Needham, I cannot tell you how humbled I am. And I'm going to reveal my Litecoin account. I'm going to reveal every single donation that I get. And I'm going to show you that not 1 cent comes out of those. So thank you. Thank you. Truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This fighting fund will go further than you know. Absolutely. I appreciate you so much, Mark Needham. Thank you. Love you. Thank you, Donna Wales. Look, some of you may think that I've got a big head on me. I kind of do. But some of you may think that, I've got an ego on me that I just, I got told by the MGTOW critic the other day that I'm doing this for fame and fortune. I don't give a fuck if nobody knows my name. In fact, I wanted to be a silent millionaire years ago. But I have to put my face out there. Because when men come up to me in the street and say, "You're sydneymgtow," this is my story. That story will help you men. When people come up to me in the street and say, "Oh my God, sydneymgtow, thank you. You told me about, I remember you said this once, and that saved me from a toxic relationship. Thank you for fighting for me." It's those moments. That is the only recognition that I give a fuck about. I don't want my face on TV. I don't want my face all over the internet. It's probably going to end up there, but I don't want that. You think I want the publicity? I'd be happy living a quiet life. But I'm even happier fighting for you men and letting you know that I won't stop, that I will not rest until I get fairness back. Until the laws change. We are going into Big Daddy Tyrone. He wants to fist my anus. Big Daddy Tyrone, I'm sending a monster truck up your anus, bitch. You don't know how hard I'm coming for you. You don't know what I'm going to do with this MGTOW fighting fund. You're not even going to see it coming. But by the time that monster truck is halfway up through your intestines, you're going to have all the power gone. Marcel, the law will change. It's men like me and the brothers behind on the front lines, the silent fighters that I have behind me, that I have standing side by side with me. My fellow men, my fellow MGTOW, my fellow fighters. The people that I've had MGTOW say to me, "If you lose your job as a result of this message, I'll support you until you find another job." That is the brotherhood that we live in. That is the brotherhood and the support. Feminists want to turn around and say, "Oh, MGTOW are just, little basement dwellers, MRAs are little basement dwellers that, don't have any friends, and they're just trying to seek validation." They don't even know what's coming for them. They don't even know what's coming for Big Daddy Tyrone with their walking wallet. Because that walking wallet is going to have its source of income dried up when more of us go MGTOW, when more of us step outside the Matrix. And if you haven't watched the Matrix, please go and watch it. Don't watch it on Cuckflix though, because they're a bunch of leftards. Find it. Marcel, yeah, absolutely. Chris Cantu, MGTOW Mindframe, Howard Dare, MGTOW 101, all on the front lines. Every single one of us. And we will not stop fighting for you on those front lines. Now, I know I've rambled on for about 10 minutes about fighting and about being on the front lines and about funding, but I'm so fucking passionate about this. I'm so passionate. I know you men can see it, but I have to say it. Because it's all about you guys. And I will continue to bring you red hot content every fucking day. There is no end to the amount of content I have for you. I dedicate over an hour a day on average, at least. And I pay for my data out of my pocket, not out of the MGTOW Fighting Fund. I pay for the newspapers. I pay for the media sources that I need to use for content for you guys every single day out of my money, not out of the MGTOW Fighting Fund. You know, sorry, I was just looking through the comments, guys. Appreciate all of you for jumping in and getting on the comments. Dude, feeling your passion, Dono Wells. Thank you so much. Absolutely, I'm so passionate. I'm getting all hot. I'm fired up. Like, just I can feel the tingling in my veins. Changes in the air, MGTOW brothers. Changes in the air. This is some real shit. This is some real shit, and it's happening right now, and it cannot be stopped. We are too strong, we are too powerful, and we are growing too fast for Daddy Tyrone to stop us. I am turning red, Alvaro. No apologies. I turned the aircon off before because I was too cold, and now I'm too hot. And you know what? I will sit here in the trenches, and I will drip sweat before I stop speaking this message to you. And this is where it's at, guys. Let me see if there's anything else I want to share with you on here. Where is it? Close that. Latrobe. So many tabs open, guys. Academic freedom and the suspension of Rosward, more like academic indoctrination. Marcel, absolutely. Chris is a very sincere man. He cares about men with depression. He's also one of the people that I pledge monthly to on Patreon out of my pocket, not out of the MGTOW Fighting Fund. And I know what he does with that money, and it is very, very, very well implemented. The money that Chris Cantu gets goes towards making sure that all our channels are backed up. It goes towards the MGTOW fight. It goes towards spreading the message and making sure that men are kept safer and happier than ever before. All right. Nah, look, that's all the stuff I got for you guys. But man, I'm gonna start tuning out now. So if you want to get your live comments in and get them in, please feel free to jump on the comments after this live stream. If you live in Sydney or anywhere in New South Wales, do drop me an email at sydneymgtow@gmail.com. Now, I know I'm looking a bit tired now, brothers. I've been getting very little sleep, so I can keep fighting this fight for you. I'm lost, brother. Please don't let the red pill rage destroy you. I watch my super balance and investments knowing no women will have any part of it. That's if you don't get married, because women can actually take your super balance if you have kids with them. Yeah, guys, look, I do want to let you know that I did go through the red pill rage. Absolutely. I'm not in the red pill rage anymore. I am in the belly of the beast, but the red pill rage is over for me. I'm in a very, very enlightened place of knowledge. I have almost asphyxiated myself by way of having my, esophagus blocked by enormous red pills. The passion and fire that I put out there for you men is so that you know how genuine I am, that I am a man of integrity, that, I do this every day, not for myself, but for you men. I'd rather not have my face all over the internet, but it's important that I put my face out there. It's important that you see the passion in my face. It's important that you hear my voice, and it's important that you see the energy that I put out there, because you have to, because this energy does convey across to you guys, and it's okay to be mad about what's going on. Don't let it consume you. It's okay to be mad, but don't let it consume you. Anyway, men, I'll let you all go. Thank you so much for tuning in today, listening to this message. Please share this with your friends who don't believe that universities are full of shit and leftist, feminist, radical indoctrination centers of Marxist and socialist utopian ideologies. It's 8:07 p.m. here, Sydney time. I'm going to bounce now. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Love my MGTOW brothers. And I'll see you very soon. If you want to donate to the MGTOW Fighting Fund, knowing now that I will be revealing the historical payments going into it and showing you that I don't take any money out of it, please feel free to do so. I'm gonna be doing that at the end of February, so it has some time to build up, so I can show you guys what other men are doing. I will be hiding all names of men that have contributed, because your privacy is important. Guys, if you're going to comment with controversial things that I might reply to in the live stream, make sure that you're using a pseudonym, or you are using an alternative channel, because some people have careers that they cannot have ruined, and some of the things that you may say may be taken as hate speech or some of that nonsense. So, MGTOW Menace, I'm going to go check out your sermon. I am going to subscribe. I'm going to give you some feedback. Thank you for letting me know about it. I appreciate you. Go and subscribe to all your favorite MGTOW content creators. MGTOW 101, Chris Cantu, Howard Dare, all amazing men. MGTOW Mindframe Darius, all fantastic blokes. I love you all. If any of you are watching, big love to you, brothers. I appreciate your message, and peace.